Okay, if you're watching this video, we have to presume that you are trying to pull an engine out of a 750 Honda. Right now this engine has been pretty much stripped from all the components that are going to be getting in the way. Oil tank is removed, all the electrics, all the cables. The oil pan cover has been removed to give me some extra room across the bottom. The oil filter housing manifold has been removed from the front. Right now it's rigged with a couple of blocks of wood that rest against the lower half of the case, or the top of the cases, and against the back of the head. It is banded around the front of the cylinders all the way over to the other side and returned and strapped, and another strap goes underneath the bottom. So this is being pulled this way, and I tell you, I could flip this motorcycle over the way it is. Now the thought here is to move a couple of these roller carts into position and lift using the bottom shelf of the roller cart against this bar, one on either side, and at the proper time just simply grab a hold of this bar and slide this engine out like a drawer. I mean, in theory it sounds good. When you do this, make sure that you have sufficient space on this bar right here to completely clear the engine out of the frame before the cart runs into the frame. And on this side it really doesn't matter. Keep the weight centered between the wheels, whatever you're using. If it's off centered, you don't want to flip this thing on its side and drop your motor. That would really be a problem. Once I rig this up, I'll pick up with the film and I'll show you exactly how this is going to go. Right now the motor mounts, everything is still connected. You do pull these engines out to the right, okay? Right or right, so it will be coming out this way. And the manual the manual says lift the engine slightly, rotate it forward slightly, and everything should clear. But that's yet to be seen. So let's get these carts in position, see how it works out. Okay, at this point the only thing I need to worry about is the bar ends. I need to make sure that they don't pull clear of the wood. That would be a bad thing. And it's very possible I could use a longer bar next time I do this, but I have enough room here that I think the motor will slide out the right side fairly easily. So I'll probably put a clamp or something on the end to make sure these bars don't pull out. And we'll get in there and take all the motor mounts out and see if this thing swings free. Stay tuned. Okay, here's the final rig. This motor is unloosened. You can see the advantage of using a cradle for the wood. In the absence of a bottle jack or any type of winch mechanism, you can just put shims underneath your crossbar. Or, like I did on the other side, because the rod is shorter, I don't have the mechanical advantage. I put boards under the wheels. You simply lift the cart and everything just rock and roll. When they say you're not going to have a whole lot of room to get this engine out of here, they're not kidding. I mean, if there's an eighth of an inch at the back of the valve cover right there, it's a lot. I actually had to take the acorn nuts out of the valve cover on the far side because that would not clear. I have a board in there just as a safety so that the studs don't knock against the frame uprights. And on this side, the only thing that will probably give you trouble is this exhaust flange stud right there. So when you're lifting this and rotating the motor slightly forward, or the engine forward, make sure that you pay attention to that. Take a look at the position. Motor is lifted about an inch, give or take. And see, it looks substantially farther on the left side than it is on the right side. But that is just strictly an illusion at this point. And this down here, you have to be spot on. Let's see if we can get that to light up. The one motor mount, there it is. The one motor mount hole will come very close to this foot peg mount. So if it hits it, you can just swing this out of the way if you want. It is loose from the previous installation. Everything looks pretty clear. If all went well, we'll throw this up on a tripod, roll these carts to the right, and keep our fingers crossed. This motor should just slip right out to the right. Let's get a tripod and find out. And once you've got the thing lined up and you are about to slide it out, make sure that the casters on your carts are facing to the right. You don't want to have to fight the swivel of the caster and encounter a bind that you think may be somewhere on the frame. I'm going to do this real slow, and if I have to fast forward, I will, so be short on the talk here. Alright, after about 20 minutes of jerking around with a pry bar, gently though, being a gorilla on this is not the solution. You do need to find out what is hanging up and just gently adjust the height of the engine or the tilt of the engine and get over the obstacle. Now I'm just about clear. Figured I would bring this home on film. See what happens. Let's get this camera off the tripod here so you can see what's going on. We're in the midst of this COVID-19 pandemic, or I'd have a helper or two. But I tell you, if you plan on doing this by yourself, wrestling this motor out of here is a real pain in the ass. But you can see I guessed fairly well for the placement of those blocks. The balance is almost perfect. The engine didn't flop at all. I expected this thing to turn upside down or something when I was halfway out, and it did not. Very pleased. Let's see if we can get that camera down here, get you a better shot. There you go. That is almost 2 inches below the carburetors and about an inch off the back of the head. And that engine is just hanging there like a, just beautiful. I have no complaints about that. Okay, the next challenge is going to be to get this thing on the ground. I am going to put a skid underneath of it, and we're going to figure out how to drop this down on the bottom. So I can pull the head off, send it out for a valve job, and re-ring it. And give a whole new meaning to get up and go. There you go, 750, out. Loving it. Thanks for watching.